Hi, this is Sage with Learning with Sage, and in this video I'm going to show you a very simple way to keep track of your monthly budget using the free Google Sheets tool. If you've watched my video on keeping track of tasks in Google Sheets, you know I love Google Apps. They're not only free, but they're very versatile, as I'll show you again in this video. Now, this video is for people who have trouble keeping track of their monthly finances and/or a person who wants a free tool that's really easy to use to keep track of their monthly finances. If either of this describes you, please keep watching. Tracking your monthly income and expenses is the first step in money management and wealth building. And I'm going to show you how to do that really simply in this video. First of all, though, you need a Gmail or a Google account to use this tool. They're both the same thing. And I recommend you go ahead and create and/or log in to your Google account now so you can follow along with this tutorial. Once you're logged into your account, go to drive.google.com, which I've highlighted in my browser. Then click this big blue New button in the top left and choose Google Sheets. That'll open up a new sheet in a tab in your browser. First thing you should always do is rename your sheet. Right now it's Untitled Spreadsheet. I just click in there and I give it a new name. I'm going to call this Personal Monthly Budget, and then I click Enter on my keyboard. Alright, so now we have to go ahead and set up our income and expenses. So I'm going to go into column B, row 1. We call that B1, and I'm going to call this Income. And then in E1, I'm going to call it Expenses. I'm also going to give this a title, income, source, and expense source. All right, and then we'll have a column for total expenses. Actually, I'm going to call this total income and total expenses. All right, then we can click in row 1 and highlight all of them. And what we're going to do is format it a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. We'll bold those items and we'll center them. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and click on these dividers at the top to expand each. Sometimes they're a little tricky to select. To expand each so I can see everything that's written in them. Alright, so I just double click those dividers for the columns to expand them to increase and show the size of whatever text I've typed in there. Alright, you can also expand them a little bit manually too, so if you want them to be even a little bit larger. Sometimes they're a little close to each other, so it's easier to read if you expand them out a bit. So I just click and then drag this slider. Alright, so let's say you make, just as an example and for ease of calculation, let's say you get paid twice a month and each check is $2,000. Alright, so that's twice a month we're going to get paid. And we'll say this is paycheck 1 and this is paycheck 2. Alright. I'm also going to go ahead and center all the items, all these columns as well. I like to have everything centered, just makes it look nicer. Alright. So paycheck 1 and paycheck 2. And then for total income, what we're going to do here in C2 is we're going to go ahead and put a formula. So go ahead and put equals sum parentheses, and then we will make it B2 to, you may have many income streams, so I'm just going to put it all the way to B100 just in case. So that's going to show 4,000. So let's say we also have an additional income stream of bank dividend. So maybe your bank pays you a dividend based on how much money you have in your account every month. So let's say it's a measly $20. So I put that in there, and you see it goes ahead and adds it to the total income cell C2. And let's say I also sell some books on Amazon. I have a passive income stream there, and I do fairly well with that. So I make an extra $100 a month in income there. So I put that in, and you'll see it added it to this total income C2 again. So you can have as many income sources as you want. Obviously, the more the better. And then you just put the income amount in this column B, and it will add it to C. Another nice thing to do, just to make it a little bit clearer, is I'm going to select columns B and C, and I'm also going to go under Format and select Number, and I'm just going to put this $sign selector, so it just shows that it's actually money and not just numbers. So that's handy. That'll also show the cents column if you want to keep track of that. I don't tend to keep track of cents. It's such a small thing. I usually just round up or down, plus it saves time. So let's say your income was, instead of $2,000, it was $2,013.92. I would just make it 2014. I round it up. So if you're familiar with rounding, basically 50 and above rounds up, and 49 and down rounds down. So if you made $2,013.49, I would round it down. So that would be $2,013, and you just ignore those cents. So do it however you like it for yourself, but those are my best practices. Then as far as expenses goes, what I typically do is I will put in my regular monthly expenses at the very top so that I can copy and paste those into the following month's sheet. So for example, if I have a mortgage, I'll go ahead and put that in, and maybe my mortgage is $1,500 a month. And then let's say I pay for internet, that's the same price every month, and that's $80. And then I have my phone, that's $50. I have electricity. Now that may change every month, but let's just say for now that it's $100 a month. Water, $50 a month. Trash pickup, $20 a month. And I also always recommend adding a savings expense. You call that an expense. It's not technically an expense, but you want it to take out of your expenses so that you make sure that you're saving money. Now that's a whole separate video, but you're going to want to create a savings account, possibly a money market account or something like that, that gets regular dividends for you, where you can put money every month for your savings. So we'll just say that we want to try and the more you can put in here, the better. So let's say we want to try and put $400 a month in savings. So I'm going to put that in here. All right, so these are going to be your regular expenses. Actually, there's a few others I should put in here that are pretty standard. So we'll say we have a car payment of $250, and then we have gas of roughly $120. So these are going to be your standard expenses every month. And then for total expenses, we're going to do a similar thing that we did in C2 for our income. We're going to do equals sum, and then we're going to do E2 to E100 in parentheses. So that's going to show us our total expenses for the month as well. So I'm also going to go ahead and select these columns and do the same thing I did before. Format, number, $sign, just shows a little bit nicer. All right, then any other expenses that you have, you can just add in columns D1 and E1. So if you go to a restaurant sometime in the month and you spend $40, you'd put that in here, and you'll see that it automatically updates the expenses, and it's increasing this amount every time you have an expense in here. Now you can also have a column or a cell called, I don't know, something like amount remaining. And this will tell you how much money you have left to spend, which is always important to know when you're keeping track of your finances for the month. So I'm also going to format this the way we did the other headers, amount remaining. And I'm actually going to make this another function. We'll do equals sum, parentheses, C2, which is our total income, minus F2, which is our total expenses so far. All right, so we have $1,536 remaining to spend in this month. So let's say we buy a plane ticket somewhere. So vacation, all right? Well, that would be for the total vacation. Now, let's say you bought a vacation package, all right, and you spent $1,200 on it. You put that in here, and then you see your total expenses gets updated and your amount remaining gets updated. So that vacation really took a toll on you, but I'm sure it was well needed. So then you put in any other amounts, any other expenses you have on your vacation, and you put them in here. You can access this Google Sheet from anywhere. All you have to do is log in to the internet and your Gmail account, and you can update this even while you're on vacation. Or you can take it really easy, just keep track of your receipts and update it when you get home. At any rate, you put it in here and you get a good way to keep track of all of your finances. All right, so we're not quite done. Another thing I like to do is put in debits. So for my checking account, for example, I have to have 12 debits every month, and when I do, I get this bank dividend. If I don't do 12 debits, I don't get a bank dividend. So I want to always make sure I keep track of my debits. So I also put a column for debits in here. And then if I have a debit, let's say I paid for this restaurant with a debit charge, then I would just put a 1 in there under debit, the debits column. And maybe I have another one where I bought something at Walmart and I used my debit card, so I put another 1 in there. And then over here on H, I can put total debits, and now familiar equals sum, parentheses, G2 to G100. So I have 2 debits so far. So if I add another debit, we can actually break this gas out. So we'll say we spent at BP, we spent $40, and then put an amount in there. And then at Speedway, we spent another $40, and we did another debit transaction there. You see the debits column then updates to 3, so we can always see how many debits we have and how many we have remaining to make. I'm not putting a remaining debits column because I always know that I have to make 12, but you could do that if you wanted to. All right, let's see. So another thing I like to do is sometimes it's helpful to add a type of expense column as well. And I'm actually going to get that a little space. All right. So for these expenses, sometimes it's not quite clear what you purchased. So yes, I spent $25 at Walmart, but what did I actually buy? This will come in handy when you do a breakdown of your expenses, which will be in a different video. But in this particular one, we'll show that we have a type of expense, Walmart. This will be, maybe we just bought some supplies for the house. So we'll make it a supplies type of expense. Now these are going to be more general than the expense source, which is going to be very specific. Speedway, maybe you bought at a gas station you don't recognize the name of, so you can just put in here gas to note what type of expense it was. All right, so this is how you fill out your expenses and income for each particular month. Okay, one more thing I want to point out, which is, so we're going to call this, let's take away some of these expenses that we added here for a minute, and some of these other items we put in here. Okay, so typically we'll say we have a bank dividend of around $20, so that can remain. And then Amazon, we typically make $100 a month. So these are, once you have all of your income and expenses that are pretty typical for the month, you can go down to this where it says sheet 1, and you can rename this, and you can call this template. So this is the template you use for every single month. These numbers don't change very much, so you can pretty much keep all of this in here. Then for each month that you want, let's say, well, it's May right now, so we'll go ahead and duplicate the template. I right-clicked the template sheet and I selected duplicate. Then I'm going to right-click copy of template, and I'm going to rename that May 2018. And then in that template, you'll see, if I select the template, it's exactly the same as the May 2018 sheet. So in the May 2018, I can start actually filling this out. So let's go back and put that vacation in again. $1,200. All this stuff updates. And let's say I paid for that with a debit. So again, whoops, put that in the wrong column. All right, so that updates. Okay, so this is May 2018. You go back to the template, you see it's just the basics. So each time I create a new sheet for a new month, I'm going to select the template, and I'm just going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to rename the new sheet. That's it. So if you use this technique on a monthly basis, you'll find that you know how much money you're spending, what you're spending it on, and if you're being faithful to your budget. This will help you make sure you don't overspend, and that you put a little bit away for savings also every month. And that's the path you want to be on to growing your wealth and just managing your money. If you like this video, click the like button below. Also, feel free to leave me a comment. I like both positive comments, obviously, and also critical feedback, which I use to make the videos even better. You can also sign up for my newsletter if you're interested in receiving more articles, videos, and life hacking links delivered to your email inbox on a monthly basis. This will be all good stuff that will help you improve your life, I guarantee that. And the link to join the newsletter is below, but it's also right on the screen right now. If you're interested in getting a one-on-one session with me on how to improve your life, create a compelling vision for your life, set and achieve goals, either career-related, financial, relationship-wise, or in general, don't hesitate to contact me at learningwithsage@gmail.com. We can set up a personal coaching session via Skype, no matter where you are in the world. I'm here to listen and to help you. Also, please contact me on social media. Those links are also below and also on the screen right now. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.